Good morning, junk removal warriors. Joseph here, Vets Haul Junk Removal in Stafford, Virginia, on Tuesday, February 1st, 2022. I hope wherever you are, you're staying busy and making money in junk removal. And today, I want to drop some wisdom on you. Many of you are operating without an operations manual. It's imperative that if you consider yourself a legitimate junk removal company, or if you're in business, any kind of business for that matter, you have an operations manual for your business. And I'm going to talk about just a few of the reasons why you should, if you don't already have an operations manual, create an operations manual. But first, let me explain to you briefly what an operations manual is. An operations manual can be 50 pages, it can be 5,000 pages, it can be 10,000 pages. Different operations manuals come in different shapes, forms, and sizes. An operations manual can even be on video. But it's imperative, guys, that you know what an operations manual is and how it applies to your junk removal business. So in an operations manual, there's all kinds of information, but typically there's going to be your company mission statement. There's going to be your organizational charts, who's in charge, who the supervisors are, who the founders are, who the shareholders are. You're also going to document your company systems and procedures, how you do things, and so forth. You should also have a list of approved vendors. Basically, guys, a good way to describe an operations manual is if, let's say, you were to sell your junk removal company and you had never met the buyer. In essence, all you would have to do would be give your operations manual to the new owner, and without receiving any training from you whatsoever, the new owner should be able to, in a very short period of time, by becoming familiar with your operations manual, be able to successfully implement your junk removal systems and procedures in order to operate a successful junk removal business. An operations manual is a living document. An operations manual typically is never complete. As your business develops, so will your operations manual. But I'm going to say it again, it's imperative, guys. It is absolutely imperative that if you're an operation and you consider yourself a legit business, that you must have an operations manual for your company. An operations manual, this is the first reason, an operations manual ensures that all operations are done uniformly. Another reason that you should have an operations manual is that employees can access your operations manual if they have questions. I'm a big believer in ensuring that my employees read our operations manual when they have questions. And if they can't find answers to questions in the operations manual, then they're more than welcome to ask any of the leadership. It saves time. An operations manual makes your company more scalable. Another reason that you should have an operations manual, especially for those of you who are looking to franchise or scale to multiple locations, or even building your junk removal business to sell in the future, is that having an operations manual increases the market value of your junk removal operations. It makes it easier for the new owner to take over operations, and it adds more perceived value. You can also feature it as a selling point to your new owner. But above and beyond those first four reasons that I just talked about, I believe the most important reason for having an operations manual is it checks the boxes on one of the items that you as a business owner should do in order to ensure that your corporate veil of protection is never pierced. And I want you to remember that term. I want you to remember corporate veil of protection. If you're an LLC. You are allowed certain protections because you're an LLC. And those protections include protection of your personal assets in case of litigation, in case you go to court. But as I have found in speaking to many of you across the nation, of whom I mentor, a lot of you think that all you need to do is just get those 3 little letters behind your business name and you're protected. Guys, nothing can be further from the truth. There is 6, 7, or 8 different steps that you have to do with regularity to ensure that your company, your personal assets are afforded the protections that an LLC allows. And one of those things is you must have an operations manual. If you ever find yourself in court, one of the first things that the opposing attorneys are going to try to do to have access to not only your business assets, but your personal assets as well, is they are going to try and rip apart your corporate veil of protection. Think of the corporate veil of protection as a veil or a shield that protects your home, your car, and your personal bank account. If you don't do things like create and maintain an operations manual, if you do things like commingle your funds, and by commingling of funds, I mean you take your business money, your business bank account, your business ATM, and you go buy groceries, and you take your family to the movies, or you buy school clothes for your kids. That's commingling. I'm not going to get into commingling right now, but you shouldn't commingle. You should be adequately capitalized. You should keep shareholder meeting notes. You should keep an operations manual. There's a ton of things that you need to do to maintain your corporate veil of protection so your personal assets are protected. Don't think, and I'm going to reiterate this one more time, don't think that just because you have an LLC, you are protected. If you're not doing these 5, 6, 7, 8, 10 things, and you ever find yourself in court, they will rip your corporate veil of protection away, and everything that you've worked so hard for, not only your business, but your personal assets, will be ripped away because you didn't know is not a defense in court. And one of the main things that you need to do to establish legitimacy as a business owner is ensure you keep an operations manual. You can write your own operations manual. I wouldn't suggest it. Typically, operations manuals can range in price. I've seen them as low as $3,000. Well, actually, I've seen them even lower, $1,500, but it was crap. Don't buy into a one-size-fits-all operations manual. They're not comprehensive, and if you find yourself in court, you won't have much protection. Instead, invest in an attorney-drafted operations manual that is tailored to your specific business. And I have found them from between $3,000 up to $10,000 or more. They're very expensive, but they are worth it if you're a legitimate business and you don't maintain an operations manual. Are you really a legitimate business? Guys, I just wanted to share this little bit of wisdom with you. I hope that you gained some valuable knowledge, a nugget of wisdom that you can apply to your business today. As always, I want to remind you, I take calls. I love to take calls from junk removal entrepreneurs just like you, because when I do, hopefully I'm able to relay value and teach you something, that I've gained, some type of knowledge that I gained from my years in the junk removal space. But I as well learn each and every time when I talk to each one of you. If you're in the Northern Virginia area and you have junk that you need removed, reach out to the Junk Removal Company, powered by veterans and patriots. Yours truly, Vets Haul Junk Removal in Stafford, Virginia. If you're local, You can call us at 540-657-VETS. That number once again is 540-657-8387. And I will talk to you next time.